Greetings, welcome back to Black Bear News, where we are discussing climate change, abrupt climate change, all things pertaining to climate change, lots of other things happening in the world as well. Thanks for your feedback. Yesterday, new microphone. Obviously, it's a it's a process trying to get it. I think the levels are better now. Please let me know if it's bursting through the speakers and killing your ears, or if it's just right. Goldilocks says it's just perfect, then let me know. Also, thank you all for catching my bad maths. I said that 2040 was 11 years away. It's not. It's 21 years away. I know this. I don't know. I was just having a brain freeze or whatever. So it happens. I make mistakes. I'm sorry. 2040 is 21 years away. That sounds like, a whole lot can be done in 21 years. I hope that a lot is done in 21 years, not just in Iceland. Totally reorganizing our economy, the United States economy, just itself in 21 years would be an enormous task, but one worth undertaking. Of course, only if you take in all the other factors that are involved with climate breakdown, climate catastrophe, near-term human extinction, et cetera, et cetera. We also have to deal with the global dimming problem. We also have to deal with the nuclear power problem. Many things to deal with. So I'm going to talking about this video that I saw from RT, and it's political segueing into climate change. The video is titled "Vests Go Viral," and it's about how the yellow vests are the yellow vest movement seems to be catching on in other countries, Taiwan being one, Germany being another. And they're basically just talking about what are the yellow vests, what are they about, what do they want. They're specifically anti-establishment. They're anti getting screwed by the government or the rich or the elite or whatever, what have you. It's not just about the gas tax, even though that is part of it. Interestingly, I'm going to link this video. It's worth a watch. It's only 9 minutes long. Just basically talking about the yellow vest and talking about the need for a yellow vest type response to government cronyism, inaction, oligarchy, et cetera, et cetera. We need some radical change. And somebody asked me if they, why I thought that people were ready for radical change in the comment section. Maybe I can find that comment. Hold, please. Yes, here's the comment. It's from Dale Norman. It says, Dale says, "You insist that people want radical change, quote unquote, in contrast to what this guy is saying. Are you sure you're not speaking for a small slice of the people, you and your friends, without considering the huge mass of people who only want the lights to come on when they flick the switch? Are you sure most people would not rather have the stability of the status quo and relative security of their comforts and conveniences than the future of their kids, especially as long as the world 30 years from now is debatable?" This guy is right about just about everything, which is exactly why there is no hope for the kids. We are as bad as he says. The world is overrun by vermin. They must be killed. The vermin are us. Yeah, we're doing a good job of destroying the earth. And it is true that people do want the lights to come on. People do. I think that's getting in the way. As I spoke, a little bit about this in a few videos ago. I think our comforts, our addiction to comfort, is getting in the way of us doing something like a yellow vest, uh, kind of movement, or an Extinction Rebellion movement. I think people have to get um, a little more uncomfortable before they are moved to action. Hope, maybe not. There seem to be quite a few pundits, of quite a few, thinkers, philosophers, theorizers, even climate scientists who, or maybe climate communicators. I don't know about climate scientists, but they are saying that we need, a revolution and a revolutionary type change. I honestly think that's what people want. When I read a poll a few weeks ago about, who people wanted as the Democratic candidate for 2020, the winner was none of the above, somebody else. People want change. People want, and I went round and round with people about this in 2016, that people were going to vote for something anti-establishment no matter what, because people are that fed up. People are not, on some level, people are uncomfortable. People are unhappy. People know that we're in trouble. People know that there are big, big problems. People know that the government is out of touch. People know that our quality of life, our standard of living is quickly eroding. And it's going in the wrong direction. It's been going in the wrong direction, slowly, surely in the wrong direction, and slowly, surely trying to bring it back in the right direction doesn't seem to be doing anything. We're getting a lot of just like, slight movements over here, slight movements over there, but mainly it's to the detriment of people's livelihoods and people's quality of life and people's happiness. People don't have much anymore. It's just outside of your front door. If I walk out in LA right now, the homeless problem is out of control, and it's booming, and it's getting worse by the day. There's no way the economy is booming. The economy is not booming. The stock market is booming. The economy is not booming whatsoever. Possibly some more, some people here or there might have some comfy jobs in, maybe newer companies or some new tech sector type things happening. But outside of that, people are really scratching and really hurting. That is what's happening. So to move on from the story, as I was watching this video, there's a banner on the video. It says 1.7 million signed petition to sue government over climate change and action. And I was like, what the heck? So this is in France. So they're protesting the gas tax, but so they're more savvy than people may think, or what they're being led to believe. They're protesting the gas tax. That doesn't mean that they're, that doesn't mean they're dummies that just want cheap gas. That it doesn't mean, it means that they know what's going on. They know what's wrong with climate change, and, just taxing the poor over it is not the way to go. So here's an article from Earther. Nearly 2 million people signed petition to sue France over climate inaction. This is from yesterday. If France isn't willing to take action on climate change on its own, well, the courts are always an option to force the government's hand. More than 1.8 million people worldwide have signed a petition from environmental groups to sue the French government for failing to take sufficient action on the matter. These groups, which include Greenpeace France and Oxfam France, are calling it the case of the century. They're hoping to acquire 2 million signatures, but the fact that they haven't met the goal yet hasn't stopped them from moving forward with litigation. They formally filed a case on December 17th, demanding the government meet the Paris Agreement and the country's own national energy transition strategy, and alleging that its decades of inaction has led to damages for which the plaintiffs are demanding compensation. French officials have 2 months to respond. Hopefully this move won't spark the same kind of backlash that previous attempts at climate policy in France have. Just earlier this year, President Emmanuel Macron announced a gas tax to help alleviate emissions from vehicles. In 2017, the country consumed 4.5% more fossil fuels than the scheduled target the government had set out when it launched its Energy Transition Act in 2015 to prevent further global warming. However, the gas tax failed miserably when violent protests by so-called yellow vests erupted in November. The lower and middle class people, who largely made up the protesters, aren't against climate action per se. They're against climate action that doesn't consult them to ensure their needs are met. Addressing the needs of a nation's most vulnerable is a key step in any just transition away from a fossil fuel economy. This is also how a government builds support for its policies, which is key to their success. The gas tax is on pause, at least for now, but many believe the French government still needs to act, with 2018 ending as the country's hottest year on record. Pollution from vehicles, industry, and agriculture results in 48,000 deaths a year in France, according to a 2016 study. France's former ecology minister quit on live radio in August. I read something about that, because of his people's failure to do anything about it. So now people are turning to the courts, and they've seen success in the past. In the United States, children in Massachusetts won a case to get their state government to develop a climate plan. Papa de Boo. Our Children's Trust, the organization that supported them, is also behind a federal lawsuit that's still moving through the courts in Colombia. Similar litigation resulted in legal personhood for the country's piece of their Amazon rainforest in April. In 2015, the Netherlands was the first country where a judge ruled on the side of citizens and environmental organizations, mandating the government to reduce its greenhouse gas emissions. That decision was upheld earlier this year. Sometimes legal action does work. At the very least, it pressures governments to acknowledge that climate change exists. Well, most governments, that is. So this is good. This is, I think, a step in the right direction. The pressure needs to come from the people, whether it's petitions, whether it's legal action, whether it's people being in the street. And this is the problem with not having, this is the problem with saying that, we can't talk politics about climate change. When people know what's going on, and people want definitive action, and they want a plan, and in order, they want something done about it. And you can't, as bad as things might be, as bad as, whatever we're heading towards exponentially might, as bad as whatever it is that's coming at us, people are going to want action, and they're going to want action that's thought out, and a plan that's thought out, something that makes sense, something that's actually going to work based on the actual science that we have. Something that I talk about on this channel all the time, which is, here's where we're at, here's the actual problems that we have to deal with, and what is the plan to deal with those things. If governments refuse to take all of these issues, all of these scenarios into account, if they refuse to take the science into account, if they refuse to take climate change happening at an exponentially faster rate than, than previously thought, they're going to run into problems. Obviously, things are going to break down. Communication is going to break down. People, society is going to break down, and that is not something. That's not. It's not going to be fun for a lot of people, and people are going to resist us. We have enough time so that we're going to be, walking into this scenario. This isn't going to slam us in 2019. Even though some may say that's the case, but the truth is that this is something that's going to be happening, faster and faster. It's going to be coming at us over the next, 2, 5, 10 years. We're going to be walking into this problem. People are going to see this problem escalating, and they're going to be like, can we do something? Has somebody thought this through? Has somebody thought an actual plan through? So, basically what they're saying in this article is that they want an actual plan, that they want action, and they want a plan that makes sense, not just like, here's a carbon tax, here's a fossil fuel tax. Bullshit. That's a bullshit plan. That is not going to work. That's not going to help people transition. And what they're saying is, we want an actual transition plan. It's high time that people convene on this problem in a government setting, for real, and just stop with the kid gloves around climate change, and stop with the I don't know, we'll see. beyond the denialism that is a clear problem in the United States. I mean, we need to have something, concrete steps in place. What are we doing besides just, let's buy some more electric cars, or let's, get the grid off fossil fuel? It's not, that's just, those are just very simple token maneuvers in the right direction. But we need something, as stated by people who are talking about deep adaptation. We need deep systemic change, just beyond, just keeping the capitalist system going with more electric cars and more windmills. We need deep, thought through, thoughtful, real plans and real change. One moment. All right, this is what I wanted to finish this video with, and that is, so I just saw this tweet in reference to Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. Putting pressure on people in Congress about a Green New Deal, about, real climate change action. And the tweet is from Emma Vigeland. She says, Green New Deal has redefined what's politically possible. 2 years ago, Obama wouldn't even try for a carbon tax. Now, the number 2 Senate Republican is advocating for it as an alternative to the Green New Deal. Bold progressivism shifts the goalpost. Democrats take note. So I guess that's what. So now the right is being pushed into, considering a carbon tax. Hilarious. As opposed to, as a wimpy response to an actual Green New Deal, or as a watered down response to implementing like a deep change. And who knows if the Green New Deal is even all that deep of a change, but, as far as just language goes in government, we weren't even seeing anybody talking about this, not even in the last elections. People barely talked about climate change, and, let alone a plan. So Ocasio-Cortez gets into office and she's like, hey guys, how about this plan? How about we force people to think about this issue and look at this issue? Again, like her or not, she's got cojones, and I think that's wonderful. They need to be pressured. People need to be pressured into thinking change is possible. Not, the Obama kind of like, well, we couldn't really get past the Republicans. Yeah, you could have. You had a Democratic majority when you were first voted into office. You had a chance to get Medicare for all, and you didn't. You just scrapped it. You just gave up before you even tried. That's not trying. So, we have somebody who's willing to, dig their heels in and fight for this. And it's creating change. So that's the point of this video, I guess, is, speak up, speak loudly, talk about it, pressure people if you can. I don't know. We need to start talking about organizing in the United States. We really do, beyond the polls and beyond the voter booth and beyond, people sitting in Congress. We need to start talking about really organizing against business as usual, which will be the end of us. That's all I have for this video. I hope it wasn't too long-winded, but just, had to talk about some things. I'm going to come back with one more video. If you would like to support this channel, you can do so at the links below. Thank you always for your eyes, your ears, and your conscience. Till next time, peace.